we do this. Let's not do it. Good morning, people. We have a lot of cloud this morning, so it's a different environment. I also woke up and the battery wasn't fully charged. Well, it's not fully charged now either. It's just over 20%, but it's enough to do a few minutes of sunrise stroll and chat. And last evening at dinner time, there was a pastor here, or there is a pastor here. Their group is leaving this morning, and he introduced me to a couple of young people to chat together, and it was amazing to discover young people from San Francisco, so thirsty for the Lord. And it's a whole long story. Maybe another day we'll tell you that story. But Hiramu is walking along here with me. So he's from San Francisco. What's your work, Hiramu? What do you do?
I'm starting up a new science research institute.
Science? You're starting yourself from scratch?
I'm working with a few others, yeah. But I'm an early employee at this new startup.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Fantastic. What's the purpose of the institute?
I mean, this institute, it's to basically bring the best researchers in the world scientific researchers in the world under one roof, and have them ask some of the deepest questions about the universe. But
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. We love hearing this stuff. This is amazing. Far away is the sun away from here. Oh, I forgot to turn off the Wi-Fi. Hey, people, I'm going to turn off. Yeah, I think most of you are there right now. So, wow, this is something. Well, the sun is, I think it's 93 million miles away. So,
oh, you mean, okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay, you understood the question differently.
No, but definitely, it's too early in the morning for me right now.
And it takes 8 minutes for the light to get here. I wonder how long it took humanity to figure that out. I don't know the date of that discovery or that certainty, that conclusion. So,
there's some people that got close to the speed of light a couple hundred years ago, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So it's a fascinating study. That's amazing. I hadn't really grasped last evening the purpose of your work. It's just a fascinating ambition and concept.
Yeah.
So, the search for knowledge is endless.
Yes.
And for understanding. And right now we're reading from the Book of Wisdom, and we have a very interesting line today in the Book of Wisdom, not a bunch of lines, to be generous, to give. And it even says, give as the Almighty has given to you. And this sounds like extraordinary lifting up of the human being and a very high concept of the human being. Many times we can think miserly about stuff and stingy, and we need stuff to survive. But to be generous and to give as the Lord has given to you. So how can we give as the Lord has given to us? And He gave us the sun and the sunlight. Yeah. What can we give Him back for that? Isn't that an interesting question?
Yeah.
I don't think that will fall into the purpose of your scientific institute, will it?
No, I don't think so, but
it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's a foundational question about the universe.
It is.
Another foundation question of the universe is, what's the purpose of all the creation? Like, we can study with science how it works, how big it is, how fast the planets are moving, how fast the stars are moving, the galaxies are moving, how many more galaxies are there out there.
Yeah.
So, but why does the universe exist? Like, who had the idea?
Yeah.
Like, could all this stuff that's like high-tech, if you find a high-tech computer, like, where does it come from, And then from the biblical perspective, we're made in the image and likeness of God.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that's one I've been thinking about a lot, actually.
You've been thinking about it. What are your thoughts about that?
Oh. It's tough. I mean, it's such a complex question too, right? Because then
Yes. This is part of the universe here, isn't it? These flowers.
Yeah.
And the life. And if you get the right angle on them, they're so beautiful. And then there's so much physics that a gale can blow, and the wind will just go through them and won't break them.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes there's some damage, some trees knock over, but then they're old or broken, they're all rotten, you know. But then and then you have all the DNA and all the chemistry in there.
Yeah.
And then nobody knows how to make life. You know how things grow a little bit.
Yeah.
But you can't, put all those elements together that you have there, and you could analyze every single one of them.
Yeah.
And you couldn't make it live.
No, you couldn't.
So maybe you guys, will you solve that problem?
We might see.
Or not a problem, I mean the challenge. Isn't it interesting?
Yeah, it is. I mean, some things are not meant to be solved, I think, too, right?
What do you mean they're not meant to be solved?
I personally, I've been thinking about this recently, but I'm like, we have a lot of questions about certain things, or whether we'll get to certain stars or whatever's, but, is the purpose of the stars just maybe to guide us, for example, as the old people who sailed in the boats.
Yeah, but now we have compasses and we have satellites out there telling us where we are.
Yeah. I mean, but
this is a good question.
Yeah, I just wonder whether. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if we want to get into this, but with the, at some point, there'll be the second coming of Jesus.
Okay.
Right, and I'm like, there will be some things that we will never.
Look at all these shells.
Yeah.
And that's all part of the universe.
Yeah.
As big as the universe is, that little shell counts,
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. And then what's the beauty of the readings today is the theme or the call to generosity.
Yeah.
To be able to share and to give back. And give as the Almighty has given to you.
Yes.
So it means we're in the image and likeness of God, and we're supposed to have a very generous spirit in our work, in helping other people. We see it actually in parents with children. How much do the parents give children? It's endless.
Yeah.
Endless giving, endless patience, endless serving. Even if a child ends up in jail or in drugs, and the parents are still there.
Yeah.
And the parents might have their own faults and their own weaknesses, but they're still there for their children.
Yeah.
They might be sick, they might be tired, they might be poor, and they'll make all kinds of sacrifices. So that's beautiful. I mean, there are people who live like this, who don't live for themselves, who don't live to hoard. Stuff, who live to share, they don't eat it all up in a corner and leave the others hungry.
Yeah.
And they realize the world is generously given to all of us, and it's an amazing thought. And then that's what Peter actually asked Jesus. He says in the gospel today, it says, we give up everything for you. What are we going to have? So the thinking is still there. And the redemption of our way of thinking in the relationships with others is such a challenge. It's but God's grace, it's possible. Can the rich man enter heaven was the question yesterday. It's harder than the camel to the eye of a needle. And so that's where Peter's question comes in as well. I think it's fascinating. It thrills to consider that we should be giving like God has given to us. And this is where you find that total love. And certain great souls have, mystics have, to be completely burned up in love for God. But then you don't disappear, because God takes you to glory. And the more we hold on for ourselves, the more, in a certain sense, decrepit we become. Yeah. The more we give, the more we blossom. Do you have any good words of wisdom to say about that?
I mean, we can't take any of that up to heaven, right?
Oh, that's right, yeah. You know what Pope Francis says? Have you ever seen a moving truck behind a hearse? Because you don't have a moving truck taking all the stuff to the graveyard, you know. It's kind of a rough expression, you know. It's kind of crude. Like it really makes you feel it. And there's a beautiful line in the Psalm 50 today. To the upright I will show the saving power of God. I think this is a great line to finish up with. It's in a way this is God talking, you know. And he's saying, you know, live this way, live upright, live great, live. You know, there's some people always complaining.
Yeah.
Is God a complainer?
No.
I mean, he asks us, he calls us out to love.
Yeah.
But he's just so generous. Like we can't even measure it. If we can't measure the size of the universe today, we can't measure the generosity of God because he gave us all that.
Yeah.
It's like a guy gives you money in like a child, coins, right?
Yeah.
And the child can't finish counting the coins in 10 years. And all of humanity at this stage of history, we can't even count the size of the universe. So get your scientists out there and see if they can measure the universe and measure the size of God's gift to us.
Oh, I mean, it'll take eternity.
Measure the weight of Mount Arbel. You could probably count a calculator, right?
Yeah.
By scientific principles, you'd have to measure the size of it and how much weight is in every cubic meter. We finish off here with a little selfie moment, Hiromo. So we'll do that here. People, God bless you. Read those readings because they are amazing.
Yeah.
Come on, just hold that for a second. I don't want to lose that connection there. What happened here? Oh, it just turned around this way. We always do a selfie moment when we have guests here. God bless you all. See you later, alligators. I've just been so blessed to meet young people. I was telling you yesterday about this young lady, and now yesterday evening these guys, and they're just filled up with love for the Lord. It's amazing. It's so beautiful.